Hey, welcome in. Well, you know how I'm always saying that the new moral left, in its moral panic, is looking under every rock to try and find some kind of oppression or injustice, because they need it, because they feed off it. Because if they can't find it, their movement halts. Well, apparently, they're just calling the rocks themselves racist now. I mean, here's the headline. Racist rock removed from college campus after Black Student Union activists complain. Quote, this moment is about the students that relentlessly advocated for the removal of this racist monument. So apparently there was a relentless push to get rid of a big rock. So folks, this is what a moral panic looks like. Anyway, a large boulder. A large boulder. Is this satire? I mean, is there any place for satire in the future when you have stuff like this? Real life. Anyway, a large boulder has been removed from the University of Wisconsin-Madison after the Black Student Union and other racial justice activists complained about it being a racist monument. So what did this rock do? Exactly, you might be wondering. Apparently absolutely nothing. But anyway, what makes the rock allegedly racist? In the 1920s, a journalist once used a racist term to describe the large boulder. So 100 years ago, a journalist used an offensive term to describe it. That was 100 years ago. So obviously, the boulder's got to go, right? Because why again? Anyway, it says here, this is quite funny. The rock's existence has apparently been oppressing students ever since. So what was the boulder's crime here? Chamberlain Rock, which is apparently the bigot in question here, which rests atop Observatory Hill, is named after a 19th century geologist and former university president, Thomas Crowder Chamberlain, whose work centered on glacial deposits, according to a bio on the university's websites. Well, so are glaciers racist? Or ice ages racist? I don't know. I mean, I guess I'll have to check the Huffington Post to find out. But it was a reporter's reference to the rock in a nearly century-old Wisconsin State Journal article that prompted the push for its removal. Because somebody called it something 100 years ago. Well, I mean, that can't stand, can it? Let's see. In the 1920s, a slang term used to describe large, dark rocks included the N-word, and it appears in coverage of the rock's installation. So that is certainly regrettable, but it also was 100 years ago. Let's see. University researchers did not uncover other instances in print where the rock was referred to with this word, but they said that the KKK was active on campus at the time of the rock's dedication, according to an article in the same newspaper published earlier this week. So by their own logic, they should just shut down the entire university. I mean, the Klan was there. I mean, okay, the rock was called a bad name. That's nowhere near as bad. It really makes you wonder why the administration isn't just shutting down the school, just leveling it to the ground, instead of just merely getting rid of this boulder. Because again, I mean, just a logical extension of their own ideas would mean that school has got to go. But yeah, of course, they're not going to do that. Let's see. A senior and campus representative from the Madison City Council, Juliana Bennett, said the removal of the rock was another step towards a more inclusive campus. They're talking about removing a rock from the campus that somebody called a bad name 100 years ago. If this is what universities are now, do not send your children to them. Do not. Because this is insanity. This is pure lunacy. I mean, it doesn't matter that they removed a rock. What matters is that they would act so irrationally. And again, are these the people that you want teaching your kids? Quote, this moment is about the students, past and present, that relentlessly advocated for the removal of this racist monument. So I think when they say past, they mean like last week, right? It's only in very recent history that people started tearing down like inanimate objects. Like this is very recent stuff. Anyway, it goes on, quote, now is a moment for all of us BIPOC students to breathe a sigh of relief, to be proud of our endurance, and to begin healing. It's a rock. It's a boulder. Begin healing? Proud of our endurance? For getting a rock removed? Which was actually probably easy. It probably didn't take much effort at all. It's just saying, no, we don't like this rock, and if you don't get rid of it, you're racist. And that's probably enough, right? And this is this sigh of relief. Because you don't have to see a rock that somebody called a bad name 100 years ago? Why is this taken seriously? It's bizarre. So anyway, according to Fox News, Mr. Chamberlain will get a new plaque in a building already named after him. And the Boulder, I guess Adolf Boulder, is that what we're calling it now? Will find a new home near Lake Kegonsa on other university-owned land. Well, breathe a sigh of relief. But what if somebody goes hiking and they accidentally see it? I mean, wouldn't it just make more sense just to destroy the boulder, And maybe any other boulders around there too, just in case. I mean, somebody racist might have looked at them in the past. But anyway, this got me a little bit interested in this University of Wisconsin-Madison. So I took a little bit of a peek. Here's a page on from Student Affairs, Inclusion Education, Social Justice Education Programs. And they've got Social Justice 101 and workshops and trainings. They've got this Social Justice Leadership Retreat. The Social Justice Leadership Retreat helps students explore their personal stories and experiences in relation to their peers and in the context of systems of power and oppression, which has everything to do with, I guess, like geology, let's say, right? Let's see. By participating in the Social Justice Leadership Retreat, students get to identify their own multiple intersecting identities, experiences, and biases, and how they map onto concepts of privilege, dominance, and oppression. I mean, that's what everybody goes to university for, isn't it? I mean, how did students in the past go on to, have like fulfilling careers and, happy lives without identifying their own multiple intersecting identities and their experiences and biases and how they map onto concepts of privilege, dominance, and oppression? I mean, there's nothing brainwashy in this at all. I mean, that's what I like about it. I mean, I feel sorry for anybody who hasn't, identified their own multiple intersecting identities by the time they get to university. What a crime. I mean, why do they even bother learning anything else? Let's say, demonstrate an understanding of their role in interrupting bias and prejudice in themselves and their community, and their role in developing strategies to build positive communities. So by positive communities, they mean miserable, divided communities, where everybody's pointing the finger at each other and blaming each other for their failures and depression that is caused by obsessing about intersecting identities. I mean, this is all just brainwashing. This is leftist brainwashing. I'm sure they'll have it explained to them, their intersecting identities and how they oppress other people or are oppressed by other people, and whether they have privilege or dominance or whatever. It's always the same thing. I mean, they know the answer before they've heard the question. And I guess in this case, if the question is, who's oppressing you? I guess the answer, at least in this case, is the boulder. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Please subscribe, like, and share. That really helps me out. If you just like to listen, there's the podcast, Radio Baloney. It's on pretty much every platform. If you look for it, you will find it. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.